3, 7 to 18. Today we'll be reading through verses 12 to 14. Verse 12. Elthan de kai telonai, baptistenai kai epan prosauton, didaskale ti poiesomen. All right, so as usual, the first thing I like to do is go through and identify the verbs. So we start off with ealthon, which is a pretty common one. It's an aorist indicative, a second aorist indicative active, third person plural form of erchomai, so meaning they came. And then we also have apon, another very common one, another second aorist indicative active third person plural it's the second aorist form that's used instead of Lego, meaning they said. And this is that alternate ending with the alpha instead of the omicron, what you might expect to be an omicron there. And then we have one more verb, and it's poiesomen, which we had in the passage earlier, and it is an aorist subjunctive active first person plural of poieo, and I'm going to translate it the same way, and because it comes within a question, I'm going to just go ahead and write it backwards. Shall we do instead of we shall do. Okay. From there, let's go ahead and fill in the rest of the verse. So we can see after elthon, we have de and kai again together. So I'm going to translate this and at the start also, and then telonai are tax collectors. So, and tax collectors, they're the they. Okay. And tax collectors also came to be baptized. All right. This is an aorist infinitive passive of baptizo. All right. And they said to him, so we have open quotes here, didaskale, vocative with that epsilon at the end. So teacher. What? So interrogative T, what shall we do? Okay. Let's go to the next verse. Hode epen prosautus, meden pleon para to diatetagmenon humin prasete. So now John's going to answer. We can see that we have a verb here, apen, which is the same as we had before, except third person singular. Aorist indicative active, third singular of Lego. So he said to them. And then we have prasete, which is, it's either a present imperative or present indicative. I'm reading it as an imperative, present imperative active second plural of prasar. And here in the context of tax collecting, I'm going to translate it as collect. Okay. Let's go ahead and fill in the rest of the verse. We have hode at the start. Hode usually signals a change in subject. So we've gone from the subject being the tax collectors as a group to now singular John. And so the ha is just there just to sort of signal that subject change. But it's within the verb already. So I'm just going to translate this as, and he said, prosautus, to them. And then meden is nothing. So, and play on more, nothing more. Nothing more. And then para to diatetagmenon, So that's a participle, a perfect passive participle, and it's neuter accusative singular. We can see that it goes with that article in front there. And this is from dia tasso. Okay. And it's, so that tasso word is sort of, there are a few different words that have compound verbs that have different prepositions at the start. So this is related to the word hupotasso. And in the context here, it's what is ordered. What is ordered to you. Okay, so para here, often from, I think we would probably word it in English with than instead, nothing more than what is ordered to you. And then I would put this imperative right at the start of the quotation. So collect nothing more than what is ordered to you. Okay. And then our last verse, which is probably the same length as what has come before now. Ep eroton de auton kai strateumonoi legontes. Ti poiesomen kai hemes. Kai penautois. Me dena diases ete. Mede sukophantesete kai archeste tois opsoniois humon. Okay, and our verbs in this verse. So we start off with ep eroton, which is an imperfect indicative active third person plural of ep erotao, meaning they were asking. Okay. And then we have poiesomen again, which again is an aorist subjunctive active first plural of poieo. Shall we do? Because we can see that we're heaping up the same phrase over and over again. Apen, which we also have had before, aorist indicative active, third singular, I guess of Lego, he said. And then we have here diasesite, all right, which is a subjunctive, aorist subjunctive active 2 plural. Know that because of that ate there. And this is from dia Sao. And when I looked up this word, because it's not that common, it talks about extortion and it talks about shaking violently. And so I've chosen to sort of combine the two thoughts together. So extort violently. And we're going to see that this is a prohibition. That's how the subjunctives are being used here, and that's why, and that's how it functions with the mays. So I'm not going to add any other words to it at this stage with the subjunctive because I can see that it's a prohibition. And then we have sukophantesete here, which is another aorist subjunctive, second plural. Again, spot that eta there that tells us. And this is sukophanteo, which means to falsely accuse. Okay. And then we have one more verb, archeste, which is a present imperative. This time, a passive. We can see that in theta there. Second plural of archeo, which means to be satisfied or content. So be content. Okay, let's go ahead and fill out the rest. So we have our post-positive de. So, and they were asking him also. Who were asking him also? The stratuomenoi, which is a participle. It's a present middle participle, masculine nominative plural. That's how we can tell, because it's the nominative form, the oi there. So it's the subject of stratuo, which is it basically means to serve in the army. So I'm going to go ahead and translate it as soldiers. And soldiers were also asking him, saying, okay, and this is another participle, present active participle, masculine nominative plural, obligo. All right, what? So we got that interrogative pronoun. What shall also we do? I'm going to flip that around. Also us. What shall we do? And he said to them, okay, no one. So the way I'll do this probably is extort no one violently, nor falsely accuse them, and be content. And then this is dative, so instrumental with humon, your, and opsonios, ois, is related to wage or pay, but specifically to those serving in the army, I guess, or in the military. So your provisions is how I'm going to word this. Be content with your provisions. Okay, let's go ahead and have a look at my translation. And tax collectors also came to be baptized and said to him, Teacher, what shall we do? And he said to them, Collect nothing more than what is ordered to you. And soldiers also were asking him, saying, Also us, what shall we do? And he said to them, Extort no one violently, nor falsely accuse them, and be content with your provisions.